All right, you will say good morning. Let's begin. We have a beautiful, beautiful daf ahead of us today. Daf Tes. Our shir this morning is dedicated by Yonah and Shishi Ernfeld in memory of Yonah's grandfather, Gedalia ben Yaakov HaKohen, looked at the merit of our Talmud Torah, his Neshama have an Aliyah, as well as the declaration of the yahrzeit of Yehuda Shin, whose first yahrzeit is being observed today. Looked at the merit of our Talmud Torah, his Neshama have an Aliyah, and his family in Nechama. So let's begin. We have a lot to do today. Today is Daf Tes, but we are picking up on Ches Amud Beis, V'haben Gola Al Yedei Ha'av, which is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 lines up from the bottom. A lot to do, but in a minute we're going to do it. V'haben Gola Al Yedei Ha'av. So remember again, that a son is sent to exile through his father. Shabbos said B'pashtos means that what? That if a son kills his father, he's sent to Golus. Or minis, Gemara is the kasha, Makkei Nefesh. When the pasuk says Makkei Nefesh, if you kill someone, Prakla Makkei Aviv, this comes to exclude one who hits his father. Shabbos says, so it sounds like over here that one would not go to Golus ultimately again as a result of striking his father. Rav Kana lo kasha. Rav Kana says it's not a question. How Rabbi Shimon, how Rabbanan. Rav say two different opinions. Rabbi Shimon Damar Chanek Chamor Misayif. So Rashi explains this a little bit outside. Or Rashi explains this. We'll talk about this outside. When a person goes ahead and Chas v'Shalom kills his father, essentially there are two liabilities. There's a liability for striking one's father and killing one's father. Each of those acts carry with them a different penalty. Remember again, there's a death penalty for even hitting one's father, even if one does not kill one's father. So also say, now watch this. So Rabbi Shimon Damar Chanek Chamar Misayif, according to Rabbi Shimon, who says that Chanek, and I will say one more piece. When you do one act that incurs two simultaneous penalties, two death penalties, for example, you get the more chamer punishment. So according to Rabbi Shmuel, it says that chenek is chamer from sayif, right? That strangulation is more chamer than sayif. Shigigas sayif nitna lakapara. Shigigas chenek lo nitna lakapara. So what's according to Rabbi Shmuel, who holds that chenek is more chamer than sayif. Therefore, when a person goes ahead and kills his father, he's going to go ahead and get the punishment of chenek. We'll say golus is not, so when you have a shigagas chenek, so golus is not mechaper. You cannot be mechaper for a shigagas chenek. Therefore, again, I will say, therefore he would hold that one is not gola ultimately for killing his father. The Rabbanon da'amri sayif chamer mechenek. But according to the Rabbanon, they say that sayif is more chamer than chenek. Then horig avid b'shogig shigagas sayifu. Then killing one's father also would represent the case of shigagas sayif. And shigagas sayif nitna lachapara. And I will say a case or a situation that if intentionally done would give you a punishment of sayif. If done accidentally, I will say can be mechoper through galus. I will say this is very important. You saw that I don't know that I ever actually spoke out, which is galus is a kapara. It's not it's an onesh. It's a punishment, but it's not really a punishment. It's a kapara. It's an atonement for the act. You can only be mechaper for an act that lends itself to atonement. If the act itself is too severe, then Golos cannot atone for it. And we'll say that's why we will see, and it sounds a little bit counterintuitive, we'll see certain cases where one person kills another person, and it's not intentional, but at the same time, he doesn't go to Golos. We'll say we look at not going to Golos as getting off free. It's not true. Sometimes not going to Golos means that your act is too severe for Golos to atone for. So the Gemara says, Rava says, Prat lo'oseh habura ba'aviv b'shogeg. We'll say actually, so we'll say Rava, and this is the preferred approach. Rava says no. The pasuk of Makkei Nefesh Prat leMakkei Aviv, that if a person kills someone, excluding a case where a person hits his father, Rava says it's a case of where a person hits his father, injures his father accidentally. And what? So we'll say, remember, if a person intentionally injures his father, he's chayiv misa. What happens if a person unintentionally injures his father? I might have thought that what? I might have thought he goes to Galus. Why? I would have thought that just like if a person intentionally injures his father, he ultimately, again, he's put to death. If he unintentionally does so, then what? Perhaps he should be sent to Galus. Kamash malon, that if a person accidentally goes ahead and injures his father, he's not liable to death, but he's not liable to Golus either. And I will say that indeed is halacha l'maisa. Weiter, hakol golden ali dei Yisrael. So also remember again, Mishnah said everyone goes to Galus as a result of killing a Jew. Hakol Golan Al Yidei Yisrael Asuyei Mai. I would say, who does this come to include? When we say everyone goes to Galus for killing a Jew, who does that come to include? So the Gemara says, Lasuye Mai, Lasuye Eved V'Kusi. It comes to include an Eved and a Kusi. That even if an Eved or a Kusi kills a Jew, they also go to Galus. So the Gemara says, Taninu Lahadatan Rabbanan, Eved V'Kusi, Gola Veloka Al Yidei Yisrael. An Eved and a Kusi could be exiled and receive Malchus through something they do to a Jew. V'Yisrael Gola Veloka Al Yidei Kusi. And a Yisrael could receive Malchus and go to Galus for something he does to a Kusi and an Eved. Bishlam a Kusi, the Eved Gola Yidei Yisrael. So I understand that a Kusi and an Eved can be exiled as a result of something they do to a Jew. What's that case? So the Gemara says, Gola Veloka, I just read. Bishlam Eved Kusi, Gola Yidei Yisrael, Veloka, Gola, we'll say, what would be the case of an Eved V'Kusi who go to Galus? The Katle. Ultimately, again, they kill a Jew. If an Eved or a Kusi kills a Jew, they go to Galus. Veloka, when they get Malchus. Dilatye, if they go ahead and they curse a Jew. So if a Kusi kills Jews, he accidentally goes to Galus. If he curses Jews, he gets Malchus. Eli Yisrael Gola Veloka, Al Yidei Kusi. What's the case of Yisrael that's Gola Veloka Yidei Kusi? Bishlama Gola. I understand that Yisrael could be sent to Galus when? The Katle. If Yisrael accidentally kills an Eved or a Kusi, he'll go to Galus. Ela Loke Amai. So we'll say, but what would be the case where Yisrael would receive Malchus for something he did to an Eved Kusi or an Eved or a Kusi? If you say Delatye, if you say that he cursed the Eved or the Kusi, Benasi Ba'am Chalosar. We'll say the pasuk says, a prince in your people you shall not go ahead and curse. So we'll say the idea over here is one is only chayiv if they curse someone Ba'amcha, who is within their nation. But I would say Ma'asa Amcha, you're only chayiv for cursing a fellow Jew. You're not chayiv Malchus for what? For going ahead and cursing a Kusi or an Eved. So what would be the case where you would get Malchus for something you did to a Kusi or an Eved? So maybe the case would be where you testified falsely against an Eved or a Kusi, and then you are made into an Eid Zomeh. We'll say, so what, would there be a parallel case by an Eved or a Kusi who testified against the Jew and then were made into Eidim Zomim? That can be Eved bar Eidusu. Could an Eved give Eidus? What's the case? We'll say, here we go. Shehiko haka type of test. She'ein bo shaveh pruta. I will say the case is where I went ahead and I hit an Eved or a Kusi, and I hit them in a way, a haka, an injury. She'ein bo shaveh pruta. Both say this is actually a very interesting case. I injured an Eved and a Kusi in a way that the injury is not a shaveh pruta. It doesn't generate liability. So what does this mean? Rabbi Yochanan, hika haka she'ein bo shaveh pruta loket. Because Rabbi Ami said in Rabbi Yochanan that if indeed you go ahead and you injure an Eved or a Kusi, if you injure them more than a shaveh pruta, then what? Then what? Then I owe them damages. If I injure them less than a shaveh pruta, then I get Malchus. And I will say that is indeed how the Rambam paskins. If a Jew injures again an Eved, is an Eved Kanani or a Kusi, the halacha is again, if it's more than a shavar pruta, I'm chayiv to pay damages. If it's less than a shavar pruta, then ultimately I get malchus. Good. Says the Gemara, chutzme al yidei ger toshav. So remember again, the Mishnah had a very interesting phrase. The Mishnah said that the chutzme ger toshav, that if Yisrael kills the ger toshav accidentally, he does not go ahead and go to Galus. And a ger toshav is exiled if he kills another ger toshav. So says the Gemara. Now, what is a ger toshav? I think we spoke about this yesterday. A ger toshav is a Gentile who agrees to observe the Sheva mitzvos b'nei Noach, the 7 Noachite laws. So he becomes a righteous Gentile. Says the Gemara, Alma. But what do you see from here? The fact that if a Jew kills a ger toshav, he's not exiled. What does that tell you? It tells you that the pashtos Alma ger toshav oved kochavimu. Sounds like then a ger toshav is reckoned like a Gentile. We'll say, remember again, what did we just say before? A Jew will go to Galus, so we'll say if he kills who? If he kills a Kusi or an Eved. An Eved Kanani, we'll say, is a quasi-Jew. A Kusi is also a quasi-Jew. But it sounds like over here that if a Jew kills a ger toshav, he doesn't go to Galus. Presumably because a ger toshav is treated like a Gentile. But one second, Ema Seifa, look at the end of the Mishnah. Ger Toshav Gola Ayidei Ger Toshav. We'll say, yeah, we said that what? That a Ger Toshav is exiled ultimately again for killing another Ger Toshav. So we'll say, so how do we understand that? Amrav Kana Lo Kasha. Kana says it's not a contradiction. I will say the answer over here is a very pashut answer. Kan be Ger Toshav, Shari Ger Toshav. I will say the second part of the Mishnah is talking about a Ger Toshav who killed another Ger Toshav. Look at Rashi. So Lo Kasha Ki Ger Toshav, Shara Ger Toshav. It's almost right. It is right across in Rashi. Gola. We'll say if one Ger Toshav kills another Ger Toshav, then what? So ultimately he is exiled. Kidiktani behedja. Bereisha kishaharag es Yisrael eino gola de lo sagi lebegola. So we'll say this. So kan be Ger Toshav. When does the Ger Toshav go to Golos? When we'll say when he kills another Ger Toshav. Kan be Ger Toshav shaharag Yisrael. But I will say if a Ger Toshav kills another Jew, then what? Or if not another Jew. If a Ger Toshav kills a Jew, then he does not go to Galus. So we'll say, remember this what I just said before. Why does he not go to Galus? Why? Because Rashi points out over here, because his act is too severe to be atoned for through Galus. Galus cannot atone for that act. Therefore, he is not exiled. That's how the Gemara reconciles ultimately again the contradiction. So we'll say there are some contrast psukim with each other. What are the psukim that are contrasted? Ksiv. The pasuk says, "Libnei Yisrael v'lager v'lasosha b'socham tiyena sheish arm." So we'll say, interestingly enough, when speaking about the Ari Mikla, the cities of refuge, so the pasuk says, "For Bnei Yisrael and for the ger and for the toshav who live in your midst, these six cities will be there." Which Shabbos seems to indicate that what? Not seems to indicate. Indicates to us that ger toshav is in the parsha of Galus. Is in the parsha. Next Mishnah we're going to talk about is with Ari Mikla. Or two Mishnahs now. No, next Mishnah about Ari Mikla. So we'll say lachem. So I'm sorry, uksiv. So we'll say that seems to indicate that Ger Toshav is in the parsha of Galus, uksiv, and yet the pasuk also says v'hayu lachem ha'arim lemiklat. And we'll say the next pasuk says these cities will be for you a refuge lachem below legerim, for you and not for a Ger Toshav. So we'll say which one is it? Do the Ari Mikla apply to Ger Toshav or not? Amrav Kana Lo Kasha, Kan be Ger Toshav Shahara Yisrael, Kan be Ger Toshav Shahara Ger Toshav. We'll say if the Ger Toshav kills another Jew, then there is If the Ger he shouldn't kill another Jew, right? But if the Ger Toshav kills a Jew, then ultimately again there is no galus. Why? Because galus cannot be mechaper for such a grave sin. On the flip side, if one Ger Toshav kills another Ger Toshav, then Galus, then the Ir Mikla does apply, it is Mechaper for his act. Or meaning, so the Gemara raises the kasha. Lefichach Ger va'ovei kochavim shahargu neharagin. We'll say therefore a Ger, which will say Bepashtus means a Ger Toshav. Ovei kochavim means a Gentile. Shahargu, who kill neharagin, are killed. So what do we see from here? Katani Ger Tumya Ovei kochavim. I will say it's interesting that it groups Ger Toshav together with Ovei Kochavim, with an idolater. Ma Ovei Kochavim Loshna de Katal Barmine, Veloshna de Katal Lav de Lav Barmine, Nerag. We'll say, and Ovei Kochavim, whoever he kills is killed. Whoever he kills is killed. It will say, that's one of Shem Mitzvahs B'nai Noach. Whoever he kills, he's automatically put to death for that act of bloodshed. Af Ger Loshna de Katal Barmine, Veloshna Katal de Lav Barmine, Nerag. Well, so to what? So to a Ger Toshav, whoever he killed, he should be killed as well. Rav Chisda lo kasha. Rav says, therefore, Rav Chisda says it's not a contradiction. Kan Shemo say, which one is it? Kan shahargu derech yirida, kan shahargu derech aliyah. Oh, Rav say it depends. One case is talking about where he killed derech yirida. Rav say based on what we learned before. So killing derech yirida ultimately again is not subject to galus. Is considered to be more like a meza type of situation, and the other is where he kills derech yirida. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. When he kills derech aliyah, I will say, when he kills with what we call the upward motion, that's ultimately again where there will be no punishment of galus, and again he's killed for that act of bloodshed. Masha Inkain, if he goes ahead and he kills derech yirida, that's what I will say considered to be an accidental act, and that is where halacha l'maisa again there can potentially be a punishment of galus. Derech yirida, the Gemara explains this. Derech yirida di yisrael gali. Ihu nami sagalei begalos. So we'll say when he kills ultimately derech yirida, which if a Jew kills derech yirida, we'll say that's considered to be what? That's considered to be shogeg. And a Jew will go ahead and go to Galus. So just like Galus takes care of the liability of the Yisrael, Galus ultimately again will take care of the liability of the Ger Toshav as well. Derech Aliyah, but if he kills in an upward motion the Yisrael pater, I will say ultimately again a Yisrael will be pater from Galus. Now again, remember, why is the Yisrael pater from Galus Derech Aliyah? Why I was saying? Because the act is considered to be too severe to be atoned for through Galus. Therefore, again, hu nerag. The Ger Toshav ultimately again will be executed for this act because it is treated like a regular act of bloodshed. Amalei Rava. So Rava says 1 second. V'lav kavachomer. Rava say, is this not a kavachomer? Uma derech yirida di Yisrael gali ihu nami sagile begalus. If when he kills derech yirida in a downward motion, where Yisrael is exiled, so now you're telling me that for the Ger Toshav, exile is enough as well. Derech aliyah the Yisrael pater. Ihu nerag. So we'll say for derech aliyah, when killing with an upward motion, that a Yisrael is exempt. Yisrael is pater. So you're going to tell me that a ben Noach, right, that a ger toshav is killed? That doesn't make sense. Ella, Amarava, what's the case? So this is actually quite fascinating. Amarava, ba'omer mutter. Oh, well, so Rava says no. What's the case? The case is where the ger toshav thinks that the act of bloodshed is mutter. He doesn't know that killing someone is usher. Some people are very sheltered, right? He doesn't know that killing someone is usher. Therefore, Omer Mutter means a case where a person thinks that what he is doing is absolutely okay. So Abaye, Rav is Omer Mutter. If you take a look, actually not yet. So the Gemara says, Abaye, Omer Mutter Anusu. Abaye says 1 second. But if a person is Omer Mutter, if a person thinks that something is totally permitted, the Ger Toshav thinks that killing someone is totally permitted, and therefore he goes in and he kills someone, that's ones. They'll say that's ultimately, again, that's extenuating circumstances. Because again, he in his eyes, he's not doing anything wrong. He thinks what he's doing is totally permitted. To which the Gemara Rava says, Shani Omer Mutter Karav Lamezid. Rava says, I'm of the opinion that Omer Mutter ultimately, again, is Omer Mutter is Mazid. Right, or what he uses, Lashon will say, Karl Mazid. You can't call him a bona fide Mazid because the halachic definition, ultimately, again, of a Mazid is someone who knows what he's doing is wrong, but does it anyway. Here I will say again, the difference is he doesn't know it's wrong. There's intentionality of action without cognitive intentionality. Meaning, my intention is not to do something wrong. But my intention is absolutely to go ahead and do this act. So it's a fundamental machlokus in Abaye and Rava about the nature of Omer Mutter. If a person kills someone because he thinks murder is permitted, so what's the schayvus there? So Abaye says Omer Mutter is karov la'ones. Karov la'ones. It's extenuating circumstances. Rava says Omer Mutter is karov la'mezid. Says the Rav Azla Tamay. I will say both Rava and Abaye go according to their reasoning. What's their reasoning? Let's say a person is shooting an arrow. And he's shooting an arrow at something that he thinks is an animal. But it turns out to be a person. Right? So then what? Or, turns out to be a person. Look at Rashi. Rashi says, Kasavar Behema, Omer Mutter Shaylo Lilmod Va'avzeh Hayalo La'ayin Ubeger. So also listen to this. So first of all, just Rashi points out something very interesting. Why does Rava hold Omer Mutter Karov Lamezid? That was an interesting idea. Why does he say Omer Mutter Karov Lamezid? To which, because we're going to see the operative phrase over here is Haya Lo Lilmod. So what does Haya Lo Lilmod mean? Should have learned. What's it meaning? What's the right word? Lack of knowledge. Ignorance. Thank you. Ignorance is not a defense, right? Or being right. Ignorance is not a defense. Just because you don't know something is not a defense. Learn it. Which, by the way, you should understand. This is the very underbelly of Gullus in general. Both say, right? Reuben's going ahead and chopping wood in the forest. So what happens? He goes ahead and his axe handle flies off and kills Shimon. It's an accident. We'll say, what do we say with accidents? Accidents happen. Sure, accidents happen because people don't take enough care. We're going to see the operative phrase is di'iboy le li'iyune. you should have been more vigilant. Either more vigilant with ensuring that your axe head is attached, or ultimately, again, more vigilant to ensure that people are not around. But one of those two things, I will say, so saying that it's an accident or saying that I'm ignorant, I will say, this, by the way, is a very scary thing. Because after 120, so there may be certain things that we did wrong over the course of our lives, and of course we're already prepared with our defense. What's my defense? I said, I didn't know. No one told me that, right? Rabbi never gave a shiur about that. Right? So I'm supposed to know. So say it's a very important idea. The Moshe says, I understand that it wasn't a real mazid, but it was karov l'mazid. It was karov l'mazid. Because why didn't you learn? Why didn't you learn? It's an incredible answer. Why didn't you learn? So the idea, that's Rava's logic. So Rava's logic is that Omer Mutter is karov l'mazid because you could have learned, you chose not to. So in fact you chose not to, okay, it still makes it karov l'mazid. So the Gemara says same idea over here. I'm shooting an arrow. I thought it was a cow, but it turned out just to be a person, or Kanani even in Seger Toshav, or I thought I was killing a Kanani and it turns out to be a Ker Toshav. Rava Amar Chayiv. So Rava says I'm Chayiv. Why Omer Mutter Karov L'Mezid? Because ultimately, again, Omer Mutter is Karov L'Mezid. It's Karov L'Mezid. Rav Chisda Amar Bosai, when we say Chayiv, by the way, Rashi points out Chayiv means Chayiv Misa. I'm a murderer. Ultimately, but my intention wasn't to kill the individual. Bosai Hayel Limod, person should be more vigilant. Rav Chisda Amar Pater. Rav Chisda says your Pater. Omer Mutter Anusu. Because he also say Omer Mutter is an anus. It's like extenuating circumstances. Fundamental machlokes. So Rava raises the kasha to Rav Chisda. So also listen to this. Hin chameis ala isha shelakachta. So also remember again. Amazing enough, we just learned about this. So the pasuk says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Avimelech. This is after Avimelech. Avram Avinu goes to Gerar because of famine. Avimelech takes Sarah Himenu, and again remember Avram says that she was my sister. Shlomo appears to Avimelech in a dream, and he says to him, "Listen, Hin chameis ala isha shalakachta. You are going to die as a result of the woman you took." Now, also remember again, and Avimelech is in what category? What category? He's in Omer Mutter, right? You will say, why is he Omer Mutter? He thinks that this ultimately again is Avram's sister, not Abraham's wife. So as far as he's concerned, he is not doing anything wrong. She's a single woman. Omer Mutter. So I'll say, yet what does Kadosh Baruch Hu tell him? Kadosh Baruch Hu says to him, you're going to die. I will kill you if you don't give her back. My labi the Adam. Does this not mean that Avimelech was Chai the Adam? Or he would have been found guilty in a court of law. And you see from here that what? That Omer Mutter is Aser. Look at Rashi for just a moment. My labi b'dinei Adam. B'dinei b'nei Noach. V'zeh Omer Mutter haya. Kisavra achos avrimu. Avimelech did not think that he was doing anything wrong. And yet, Kadosh Baruch Hu says, if you were to be tried in a court of law, you would be found guilty. To which the Gemara says, no. Lo b'dei shamayim. Actually says, Gemara, no. Kadosh Baruch Hu is telling him, you're going to be killed, ultimately, again, by me. Or it's not left in a court of law. Dekanami dichsev, mechato li. The pasuk says, ultimately, Kadosh Baruch Hu says, you have sinned against me. So you see from your boss, I say, don't see a raya, ultimately, again, that Omer Mutter is chayiv. Using that logic, 1 second, the chatasi le'elokim. I will say, fast forward to Yosef. Yosef, when Ish's Potiphar tries to seduce him, he says, I can't do this act, because if I do so, the chatasi le'elokim, I will sin to God. Le'elokim v'lo Adam. Was Yosef only saying that only be chayiv by God, but not by man? Not at all. It would be an act of adultery. Eladina masr Adam. Rather, again, when Yosef is saying is, I can't commit this act, because this would be an act that would be an affront to God, but would also be an affront to man. So too, again, when Kadosh Baruch Hu says to Avimelech, I'll kill you for this, it's not just that Avimelech would be chayiv b'dei shamayim, but Avimelech would also be chayiv b'dei Adam. We'll say, what do you see from here? You see from here that Omer Mutter is Aser. You see from here that Omer Mutter, we'll say, even if a person doesn't think they're doing anything wrong, I think I'm doing something totally legitimate, I should have known better, and I will be chayiv for that act. Sabai is the kasha terava. Hagoy gam sadik tarog. I will say the pasuk says again, similarly by Avimelech. Right? So Avimelech says, Ribono Shalom, are you going to go ahead and wipe out Hagoy gam sadik tarog? Will you wipe out ultimately again the tzaddik for no reason? So Avimelech justifies his actions. Hassam. So you see over here that Avimelech is saying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, look at Rashi, Hagoy gam sadik tarog. Shahodul HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Alma Anus. And remember again, Avimelech says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm a tzaddik. Why am I a tzaddik? Now, because I didn't know. I didn't know. By the way, we'll say we can even give a bigger proof to Avram Avinu, right? What's Tavi Melech? What's the bigger proof, right? Remember again, he was told that she was his sister, right? Meaning again, it's not just the pshat that he took her and then ask questions later. He was told she was his sister. Excuse me, but you don't have right to come with kindness on me. I'm a tzaddik. They're both saying. Now here's what's interesting. So the construct of the Gemara's question is as follows: Avimelech makes this statement, and what does the Chalish Baruch Hu do? What does Chalish Baruch Hu do? Chalish Baruch Hu backs down, so to speak. Chalish Baruch Hu doesn't punish Avimelech. Now the fact that Avimelech says I'm a tzaddik, and God doesn't punish would seem to indicate that what? That Avimelech's statement, Avimelech's argument was accepted, which would seem to say that what? That Omer Mutter is Potter. Right? That Omer Mutter ultimately again is Karov La'ones, to which the Gemara says, no. Hasam Kidga Mahaji Iluya. It's not true, meaning the Ribono Shel Olam does not agree with Avimelech's taina, but instead he goes ahead and he gives Avimelech Musar. What's the Musar? Va'ata Hashed Eshes Ha'ish Ki Navi. God tells Avimelech, give back this man's wife, for her husband is a prophet. Right? Avram Avinu is a Navi. We'll say, so on the days, Eshes Navi hu ditehadar, Delav Navi lo tehadar. I don't understand. You only have to return the wife of a prophet. You don't have to return another man's wife. Well, who cares if Avram Avinu is a prophet or not? What does that matter? Lamais, at the end of the day, she's married. We have to return her regardless. To which the Gemara says, "Elaki the Amar of Shlomo Rachmani, Amar Shlomo Rachmani, Amar Rabbi Yonasan, Hachi Kamer." They both say this is what Hakadosh Baruch Hu said to Avimelech. Beata, Eisha Ishmi Kol Makom. You have to return. This isn't another man's wife. So you have to return her regardless. Ka'amrit Hagoy Gam Tzadik Taroku. So Hagoy comes out there, and Avimelech, by the way, that which you said that you're such a tzaddik, like that's you're such a tzaddik. And after all, what's your claim? Bless you. Why is it that you have a right to claim that you're a tzaddik? Because after all, hello, who Amr li achosihi? Because Avram Avinu said that she's my sister. So Avimelech, you think that you're all justified in your having taken Sarah? Because after all, again, even Avram Avinu said that she's my sister. Navihu. I want to explain to you why this man. Why did Abraham tell you that his wife was his sister? Why didn't he tell you the truth? Because Navihu. He's a prophet, and he learned from your actions. How did he learn from your actions? Because we'll say, when a visitor comes to a city, what do? What's proper achnasas archim? Proper achnasas archim is al iske achila ushtia shoaloso. You ask the visitor if he has food to eat, if he has a place to stay. Klum shoalin oso ishtechazu achosu. Welcome to our town. Is that your wife or is that your sister? Right? Listen, so that's not exactly, Haknasas Archim 101, right? Haknasas Archim 101 is a new face shows up in town. You have a place to stay, you have a place to eat, you have a place to drink. So apparently, interestingly enough, if you ask about the woman with him a little bit later on, okay, but don't make that the first thing you ask about. Avram Avinu understood the fact that he shows up in a new city, and the first thing they ask about is wife or sister. He realizes that this is a place of immorality, and ultimately, again, that's why he felt compelled to ultimately make up this narrative. So we'll say, what do we see from here? So we'll say, therefore, Hakadosh Baruch Hu counters Avimelech. He says, no. Don't put on the tzaddik act. You are not a tzaddik. You are not a tzaddik. Why? Because, good morning, Mr. Schoenfeld. Because at the end of the day, Avram Avinu said what he said, because in Kinavihu, he understood ultimately, again, through your questions, what kind of place this was, and made up the narrative he needed to ultimately, again, in order to protect himself and Sarah. So for both sides, the Gemara ends off with a dramatic statement, which is that you see from here that if Ben Noach is killed, because he should have known, but he didn't know. Now, again, this machlokes Abai and Rava of Omer Mutter, which will say, so again, of Omer Mutter, a person does something because they think it was totally permitted, but it turns out that it was totally usher. So do we say Karov Lemezid, or do we say Karov Lemezid? So let's listen to this. So the Shmramam, this is in Hilchos Malachim, Parak Yud Halacha Aleph says the following: V'cheinim harag v'hulo yadash asalarog. The Ben Noach kills someone because they thought it was mutter to kill. They didn't know it was usher to kill. Harei ze karov lemezid v'neharag v'lo techashev zulahem shkaga Mipnei shahaya lo lilmod v'lo lama. They both say that is how the Rambam paskins halacha l'maisa. That a ben Noach ultimately is killed al shahaya lo lilmod v'lo lama. This is a ben Noach. We'll say by a Jew it's different. By a Jew the halacha is that Omer Mutter is going to be pater from Misa, but that's also because a Jew requires hasra. You never normally require hasra before you go in and kill someone. So a ben Noach, I will say, will be killed for a case of Omer Mutter. Will be executed for Omer Mutter. It's cut off lemezit. Ultimately, again, we say ultimately, again, he should have known. You should have known better. You can be executed for should have known better. That's how he paskin. Ultimately, again, like the position of Rava. Good. Says the Mishnah. Hasuma inogola. We'll say a blind person is not sent. If a blind person accidentally kills someone, he is not exiled. Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi says he is exiled. We'll see why. Hasome inogola. We'll see. This has come up already a number of times. If Reuven hates Shimon, now how we define it? So the Rambam define a sone as someone who intentionally does not talk to someone else for 3 days. You don't talk to someone intentionally, don't talk to them for 3 days, that's a sone. Again, we'll see, we'll explore this more. There are other definitions for sone as well. If an enemy, right, a sone, Reuven hates Shimon, and he, quote unquote, accidentally kills him, he's also not sending us. So we'll say the logic behind that is what? That we assume that it was not an accident. Rabbi Yossi Omer hasone ne'arag b'bdei k'muad. Rabbi Yossi has a very dramatic shita. Rabbi Yossi says that if it's known that Reuven hates Shimon and he kills him, even though what? It might look like an accident, we assume it's not an accident, he's a muad, and therefore he's executed. Rabbi Shimon takes a compromised position. Yesh sone shu gola, yesh sone gola, yesh sone she'ina gola. Sometimes a sone is exiled, and sometimes he's not exiled. Zaklal will say, how do we know what's the case? Zaklal, koshu yachol lomar ladas harak inagola. It will say essentially, according to Rabbi Shimon, we look at the circumstances. If the circumstances look accidental, koshu yachol lomar ladas harak inagola, v'shlo das harizagola. We'll say when it looks like an accident, we'll send him to Galus. When it doesn't look like an accident, we won't send him to Galus. So we'll say, so essentially, when it comes to sone, we have 3 different opinions. Opinion number 1 says a sone is never sent to exile. Opinion number 2 says a sone is killed, is executed because he's like a muad. And the third opinion says it depends. We have to gauge this based on the circumstances. If it looks like an accident, he will go to Galus. If it doesn't look like an accident, then what? Then he won't go to Galus. Says the Gemara. So let's analyze the Mishnah. Below Raos, the pasuk says that ultimately, again, you kill someone below Raos without seeing. So what does below Raos mean? Prat l'suma. Most of this comes to exclude the case of a blind person who kills someone. So ultimately, again, if a blind person accidentally kills someone, he does not go to Galus. Rabbi Meir says, below Raos, the Rabbo says Asuma. On the other hand, Rabbi Meir says that no, the phrase below Raos comes to what? Comes to include the Suma. We'll say, what does this mean? My time is Rabbi Yehuda. We'll say, so let's analyze both of the Shiva. So it's Rabbi Yehuda's logic. The pasuk says, if a person will come and meet his friend in the forest, afilu suma. Then we'll say, Re'ehu includes what? Includes all kinds of people, everyone, even a blind person. Afilu suma. Asa below Raos. Then the phrase below Raos, he did not see miate. Rabose is an exclusionary phrase. It comes to exclude the suma. And therefore, again, we see from here that so below Raos, Rabose is an exclusionary phrase that comes to exclude the suma from the laws of someone who kills b'shogeg. Fine, that's Rabbi Yehuda. Therefore, if a suma kills someone b'shogeg, he will be pater. Pater from Galus. Rameir says below Raos lamait. So Rameir says like this: the phrase below Raos, is a miut, is a limiting or exclusionary phrase. Bivli das lamait, without intent, Rabose, is also a miut. Have a miut achar miut, Rabose. So this is one exclusionary phrase or limiting phrase after another exclusionary phrase. So also we have an exegetical principle of ein miut achar miut el l'rabos. So when you have 2 limiting or exclusionary phrases that follow one after the other, the net effect of that is they're coming to go ahead and include something. What are they coming to include, Rabbi? They're coming to include, at least according to Rabbi Meir, they're coming to include ultimately again the suma. That if a suma does in fact kill someone b'shogeg, he will be chayav galus. Rabbi Yehuda, bivli das, prat l'meskavin udas. Rabbi Yehuda will say that no, the phrase bivli das ultimately again comes to exclude someone who has kavanah. If a person has kavanah, ultimately again they don't go to galus. So we'll say, how do we paskin? We paskin ultimately again that a suma does not go to galus. If a blind person accidentally kills someone, they are not chayiv galus for that act. We'll say first wide line, Tesson base. Rabbi Yossi Omer Asoni Nerag. Rabbi Yossi will say says that again. What's the case? It's known. However, it's known. Reuven hates Shimon. Reuven hates Shimon, and then he kills him. And again, and so what happens now? It looks like an accident. So what do we do with this? So Rabbi Yossi says he's immediately killed. Rabbi Yossi has the most dramatic of the three shitos, and Rabbi Yossi holds that a sone is like a muad. He's like a muad. He's forewarned. He's forewarned, and therefore again he's executed for. Reuven is executed for killing Shimon. One second, how can you kill him? He didn't get asra. Also remember again, you can't execute the Jew without asra. So how can you go without asra? Masnisin Rabbi Yossi bar Yehudihi. Our mission reflects Rabbi Yehuda. Say second one line testament is this Sanya Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda Omer Chaver Eino Sarach Hasra. That a Chaver will say Talmud Chacham doesn't require hasra. Why does the Talmud Chacham not chayiv hasra? Why does it not require hasra? The fish shalom nitna hasra Allah hafchin min shogig l'mezin. We'll say, what's the point of hasra? What's the point of hasra? Hasra, the warning is that you understand that what you are about to do is asr. A Talmud Chacham says Rabbi Yossi Yehuda doesn't need hasra. Why not? Why not? Because he knows already. So it's actually very interesting. Rabbi Yossi therefore is of the opinion over here that a soneh, someone Reuven who hates Shimon. Reuven knows that what? Reuven knows that he feels like he wants to kill Shimon. But Reuven also knows that what? That murder is asr. Therefore, it says if he's already considered to be an Arazosai, the Gemara presupposes that when you hate someone, you already have been thinking about all the different various things that you could do to them, right? Including again killing them. But Lamaisa, again, you weigh your options because you understand the repercussions of your actions. Therefore, again, the Sone in Rabbi Yossi's view is considered to be a muad. Because he's considered to be a muad, he's already considered to be forewarned. Therefore, what? If he ends up killing, Reuven ends up killing Shimon, then what? He will be pater from galus. I will say, remember again, why is he pater from galus? He's pater from galus because he's considered to be an intentional murderer, and because he's an intentional murderer, ultimately again will be chayiv misa naka. So we'll say now that is the extreme shita of Rabbi Yossi. So the Gemara goes weiter. Rabbi Shimon Omer Yesh Sone Gola. We'll say, remember again, Rabbi Shimon himself was the one who said. Rabbi Shimon was the one who said that Lamaisa again. There's like this middle position. The middle position of Osai is what? Is that Lamaisa, we look at the act. We look at the act itself. So Tanya, Ketzar Am Rabbi Shimon Yesh Sone Gola Yesh Sone She'ena Gola. So let's analyze this. Rabbi Shimon says that there are times when a Sone will be Gola, times where he won't be Gola. How do we gauge those two cases? So watch this. Nifsak Gola. So if you can imagine, if Reuven is going ahead and lifting a bucket, right? He's lifting a bucket. And what? Or I should say, nifsak olam, which will say means, let's say the rope breaks. I shouldn't say he's lifting. He's holding a bucket and the rope breaks. The bucket falls on Shimon and kills Shimon. I will say that's gola. That's gola, because that looks like an accident. Nishmat eina gola. However, I will say, if Reuven is holding the bucket with a rope and the rope happens to slip out of his hands, and the bucket ends up killing Shimon, then what Rabbi saying? That's eina gola. Rabbi saying, and remember again, I want to be clear. Rabbi Shimon doesn't say that Reuven is executed, right? Because again, you can't demonstrate that he's going to be hard to prove intentionality. But one thing is clear, which is what? It doesn't look like an accident. In other words, if the rope breaks, that's an accident. If the rope slips out of Reuven's hands, is that an accident? Is that an accident? Mm-hmm. It could be, but it also could not be. So because of that, again, you wouldn't go to galus in that case. But we learned Rabbi Shimon says, Li'olam eino gola. Reuven will never be exiled. Actually, Yishmat machatzalo miyado. Unless, of course, what I will say, unless, of course, the machatzalo, if you look at Rashi's machatzalo is hum ma'agila, shepamim shetachin b'machatzalon, shuklei umnos shabonim u'b'lastral. So we'll say, this case of machatzalo, we'll say, it goes back to the beginning. We're speaking about, again, if somebody is smoothing out the plaster on their roof, it's the roller. Rabbi Shimon says, that a person never goes to galus unless, of course, the roller slips out of his hands. So kasha nifsak on nifsak, kasha nishmat nishmas. So we seem to have two contradictory brisos. The first brisa told me that's what? That lemaisa, if the rope breaks, Reuven goes to galus, but if the rope slips out of his hands, he doesn't go to galus. And I was now the second brisa seems to indicate that what? that the only case of Gullus is where Lanaisa, again, the roller slips out of his hand. So which one is it? Kasha nishmat anivsak, kasha nishmat anishmat, nivsak anivsak lo kasha. So both say the case of the rope breaking is not a kasha. Ha ba'ohev, ha bisone. They both say if the rope breaks, so everything depends. If Ruvain ultimately, again, if Ruvain is an ohev, if Ruvain and Shimon normally get along, and the rope breaks, and the bucket comes down and kills Shimon, then what they're both saying? Then Lamaisa, again, Reuven will go to Gullus. If, however, again, Reuven hates Shimon, it's not that he's a Soneh, then if the rope breaks, then Lamaisa, again, he won't go to Gullus. Nishmat and Nishmat lo kasha. They both say similarly again. If it falls out of his hand, that's also not a kasha. Ha Rebbe v'ha Rabbanan. Supposed to say, listen to this. Rebbe will say the following. This goes back to Rebbe and the Rabbanan. We're not going to get into this now because of time, but this goes down back to Rebbe and Rabbanan of yesterday or of 2 days ago. 2 days ago, when we were speaking about the chopping of the wood. We'll say Rebbe is the one who holds that Lemaisa, again, Lemaisa, the case of chopping wood where you go to Gullus where the splinter of the wood comes off the tree and kills someone. Therefore, Rebbe says when you're still holding in your hand something of the original object, you don't go to Gullus. So if the rope breaks, ultimately, again, one will not go to Gullus. Rabbanan, on the other hand, holds that if the rope breaks, you will go to Gullus. So we'll say, so bottom line, how do we paskin in this case? The Rambam paskins are both say that a soneh is not gola. That's how the Rambam paskins. That Allah Lamaisa, again, if it's known that Reuven hates Shimon. It's known, I will say, again, we'll have to discuss the Rambam tomorrow, Meretz Hashem, how you define a soneh. Again, we don't have time for it now, but I owe it to you tomorrow, definition of a soneh. But the way the Rambam paskins is that if it's known that Reuven hates Shimon, and Reuven, quote unquote, ends up accidentally killing Shimon, Reuven will not go to Gullus. We'll say, what do we do with Reuven? What do we do with Reuven in a case like that? Nothing. We're not going to put him to death, obviously, because you can't call him amazed. There's no hasra. And again, you can't demonstrate intentionality, but because there is, quote unquote, a pre-existing condition, there's a pre-existing relationship condition, therefore what? He will not go to Gullus. So we'll say again, we'll see tomorrow, we'll define the scope of what a soneh is. Let's just do the Mishnah for today. But I just want to tell you, it's very exciting, by the way. We're about to get into some beautiful, beautiful agarata between, not today, I'm down, right? But we only have 2 minutes left for today. But tomorrow, Meretz Hashem, the next day, the day after that, another number of days with beautiful agarata. So it says the Mishnah, Lehechan Golus. So let's say, here we go. So now we've been speaking about the parameters of Golus. Where does one get exiled to? Where is Golus? So the Gemara says, "Ari miklat." We'll say to the cities of refuge. So the Mishnah says, "L'shalosh shebei v'ayard." We'll say there are 3 Ari miklat, three cities of refuge in the Transjordanian lands. Shebei v'ayardin, u'l'shalosh sheberetz Canaan, 3 cities in Eretz Canaan proper. Shneimar es shalosh arim titnu me'ever liyardin, ve'shalosh arim titnu be'eretz Canaan. Actual nivcharu shalosh sheberetz Yisrael lo hayu shalosh she'ever yardin koltos. So we'll say now the 3 in the Transjordanian lands were already established by Moshe Rabbeinu, but yet amazingly enough, they do not take effect until the 3 in Eretz Yisrael are inaugurated by Yoshua. Shneimar sheish arim miklat tiyena. Because we'll say the Torah reckons them as 6. Ad she'yiyu sheshtan koltos ke'achad. So we'll say ultimately again, the 6 only take effect. Even though 3 were designated by Moshe Rabbeinu and 3 by Yoshua, the 3 by Moshe Rabbeinu only took effect when the 3 in Eretz Yisrael were inaugurated for service, because the Torah reckons them as a unit of 6. Next, umechabnos lahandracha mizulazu. I will say now, well, they're going to define the nature of this phrase. What it sounds like again is that we make sure that there are straight roads leading from one to the other. Now, what this means exactly, we're going to discuss. Doesn't mean leading from one miklat b'pashtos. Not what it means is that every city is like lahamdo, just like cities have evacuation, like defined evacuation routes. So do cities have to have defined paths to the nearest air miklat. The pasuk says ultimately again, also, which means that what? That when planning a city, part of city planning means there must be a direct route to the nearest air miklat. So let's say Reuven accidentally killed Shimon, and Reuven is being sent to Gullus in the Ur Miklat. We send 2 Talmidei Chachamim to accompany Reuven to the Ur Miklat. Why? Shema Yargena B'derech V'Yidabra Ilav. Because I will say, let's say the Goel Hadam. We haven't discussed this yet. But remember, again, there's an avenger of blood, which is the closest surviving relative of the victim. Let's say he catches up with Ruvain. As Ruvain is going to the Ir Miklat, we send two Talmidei Chacham with Ruvain with the hopes that what? They could convince the Goel Hadam, the avenger of blood, not to kill Ruvain. Even though he has a license to kill, they're going to convince him not to kill him. Rameir says, the truth is, Ruvain, the accidental killer, could also speak up for himself. Again, we're discussing what this means. So what says that Yossi says in the beginning, the way it used to work was, if you killed someone, the first thing you did after you killed someone is what? You ran to the Ir Miklat, whether you were Shogeg or Mezid. And then Bezin would bring you from the Ir Miklat to try you in court. Mishan is Chai Misa Bezin in Hargo. So I'll say ultimately, again, somebody became Chai Misa Bezin, killed him. Rishon is Chai Misa Patrul. But if he wasn't Chai Misa, Bezin exempted him. I mean, if he was totally Patra, Bezin exempted him. Mishan is Chai Galus. If somebody was Chai Galus, Machzirin Osolim Komo. They would return him back to the Ir Miklat Shneemar. The Yeshivu Osa Ida El Ir Miklat. So the point of the Mishnah being that the way it used to work was you committed an act of bloodshed, everyone ran to the Ir Miklat. Then it would be the job of Bezin ultimately to figure out what to do with you. We'll continue to show with the Gemara tomorrow. Beautiful Agarata, halacha l'maisa about the Sony tomorrow.